Welcome back, everyone, to Nerd TV for another full throttle sim racing Martin Sports Truck Series race number 11 of 13 for the 2023 B season here at Full Throttle Sim Racing. We're coming at you live from the simulated Lucas Oil Raceway, going a little bit of short track racing this time around. As right now, 20 trucks at the moment are going to tackle 150 laps here at this just over half mile, almost 3/4 of a mile. A little short track here. Progressive banking. You can run the flat on the apron. You can run it right against the wall. So it's going to be really pretty diverse, kind of like what you saw last week there in the at the Michigan International Speedway. You can run the top, bottom. Should be quite entertaining for sure. And it's going from sunset to nighttime, so there will be a transition in light and temperatures and maybe some tempers. Who knows? On the track right now, though, 80 degrees on the surface, 76 in the skies. The lowest amount of humidity we've seen all season, 39%. And the first time in forever, clear skies, which that won't matter because we're transitioning into nightfall. And then the gust of winds up to 11 miles an hour. That also won't play a factor because, well, we're at a short track. So, we're going to see how it is. But my name is Jeremy Stanley. To my right-hand side, who was not here yesterday. And back today, Mr. Jason Rockefeller. How you doing? And why are you in my seat over there in the spotter stand?
Oh man, I heard a little birdie told me that I could come up and sit here if he sent me the image on Discord. But hey, we're out here, IRP. This is a very interesting racetrack to say the least when it comes to the short tracks because if you really think about it, this is kind of like a single file train game when it comes to the truck series here. In really any kind of stock car division you go here, whether it be modifieds, Xfinity cars, cup cars, trucks, whatever it may be. This track is predominantly useful up on the top side of the racetrack. It's very hard to pass, and tire wear is very, very crucial, especially when you're trying to pass here on the bottom side of the racetrack.
Yeah, no kidding. So for me, when I race here, I usually diamond. I usually enter in a little bit low, middle groove, go up to the top, and then diamond back down and get the straightaway speed, which is great and all. But I lose a lot of tire wear in the center. And these trucks, if they run up against the wall there for their entire lap, if you just lose an ounce of grip, you're into the wall, right? And there's this thing called wall glue that happens in the real world and in the sim world where you just can't get off the wall. You're gonna lose a lot of speed. So if you're gonna run that fast lane, you got to make sure you're prepared for what's to come on that. Tire management for sure is going to play a key here for all 150 laps. But you guys are going to head over to qualifying. The practice winner, the 29 of Tommy Schaefer, which is, I think, his first time taking P1 in practice. So once ever he gets on track, we're going to follow suit and see what he's got in store for us on board. But yeah, 20 guys in the server right now. I think it's the lowest cower count here. That's because, well, we got a couple of things. We got Richie Coy taking some vacation. He announced that on Monday. So he's going to forego the points lead to Cody McKinney. Richie Coy will take provisional for this week and next week. That is for sure. So Cody McKinney, as long as he shows up, he will be your 2023 B champion because the next guy back is 129 points out. No competition there, but you see Tommy Schaefer here. He's warming up those tires, getting ready to take the green flag.
Yeah, and this is a guy coming off of a second-place run last week at Michigan, which was an absolute barn burner, to say the least. Stephen Hollingsworth won last week, and third was Ryan Chapman. Fourth, Alan DeBronco, and fifth was Brandon Gagnon there for Nerd Motorsports. But yeah, Tommy is looking to have a great run here tonight. Fastest in practice, and you see him running that outside lane, trying to kind of use that upper seam to make him a little loose, kind of have that run off and diamond the corner awkwardly. This time by at the line, Tommy will go to the top of the charts with a 29.948. And I believe this is going to be his second lap, so he's going to try to do the same thing here. Enter in high through the middle, drift up through into the center, diamond it back down. I don't think this lap's going to be as good as his first. With the C gets a little loose off corner exit. And that time by 21.947 does it a little bit faster. Surely thought, Jeremy, for a second there that Tommy Schaefer was not going to have as fast of a lap. Imagine if he just didn't get loose off 4 there. That lap would have even been faster.
Yeah, his first lap, that was identical times actually on the board. It said 9:47, and then you go to his individual time, and it said 9:48. So I guess a dead tie there essentially, but we're on board now. The 00 Tyler Brown, who's coming to take, I think, the white flag here. gets to turn number 1, and actually this is going to be the start of his first lap here, and he's electing to choose the middle to lower groove here on this lap.
Yeah, and that's kind of just, your driver preference and whatnot. And you see him coming around 3 and 4. He's going to probably try to get the lowest arc he can. He goes from the middle down to the bottom. I don't think this is going to be a very good exit at all to start his opening lap. And that was his first lap, 21.971. Currently third up on the leaderboards, and he's actually not really even near the top there. But down to 3, we'll see what he does here. Enters a little bit lower than what Tommy Schaefer did, comes up a little bit higher. He's trying to diamond it. I think he's going to stay in third for right now. I don't expect this lap to be any faster, but I said that about Tommy Schaefer. And yeah, a little bit slower there for Tyler Brown, 22.025. So that will slot him into the third spot. As we look at your points leader, Cody McKinney, currently 6th, looking to be really fast here on his second lap.
Yeah, this is lap number 2, entering turn 3, up in the middle, upper groove there, kind of sliding around. A nice little diamond there through the center, straightens up that exit speed, gets to the line, and improves up to P2 there to 21.950.
Yeah, good little run there for Cody McKinney in the number 28. Obviously, not a whole lot of pressure, knowing that his, friendly rivalry with Richie Coy will not continue on here tonight due to Richie's absence on vacation. So he's got to be feeling pretty good about that, knowing he's not battling with Richie at all. So we'll have to see about that. But here's Marshall Johnson right now. He's taking a look off turn number 4. I believe this is to complete his second lap, and this time by at the line, 22.049, which will slot him into the 6th spot this time.
Yeah, pretty decent lap there for Marshall Johnson. Going to quickly look over the chats here on Facebook. It's pretty active. Usually it's YouTube, but Facebook's leading the way early. Rion Davis, I think it's Rion. It's like Ryan backwards almost, but he said, "Let's go, Matt Keach. We in here early." So I see you, and then Rion again saying, "Let's go, McKinney Racing, going for Cody and Joseph McKinney there, which right now hold P2 and P16 in this qualifying session." And then Matt Keach back on there saying, "I got Brandon Gagnon winning." And, well, he's in 3rd place, and those guys are really close in time. So either pick there is going to be a good one here. Haven't seen Brandon Gagnon yet on the short track, other than if you want to call New Hampshire a short track. I don't think you would, but this is the first time we're going to see him doing it here on a less than a mile track. So we'll have to see what that 38 has in store here. But that is it. The conclusion to qualifying is here. We're going to jump over to the starting lineup here for tonight's Lucas Oil 200, where these guys are going to take or 150 rather, taking 150 laps here around this almost 3/4 mile speedway. And Tommy Schaefer is going to start P1. To his outside in 2nd place is going to be the 28 Dakota McKinney. 3rd place, Brandon Gagnon. 4th place, number 00 Tyler Brown. 5th place is going to be Brody Hanna, returning to the Truck Series for the first time in nearly 2 months. 6th place going to be the 9 of Marshall Johnson. 7th place will be J.P. Burns. Brandon Elder starts in 8th. Sylvain Jolly starts in 9th. And Lane Allen takes the 10th place.
Top 20 tonight, Tony Solari slots in 11th with that number 11 machine. 12th is Ryan Chapman, looking to continue his top 10 streak from the last 4 races. 13th, Michael Blackner from Fury Motorsports. 14th, the Heartbreak Kid, Robert Malikian in the 16. 15th, Sherwood Williford in the 33. 16th goes to Joey McKinney in that Toyota Tundra. 17th, Rick Webb in the number 83 machine. 18th, Justin Diltz in the 91. 19th, Alan Duranco. And 20th is Colby Mice, who had a stellar run just a handful of nights ago on Monday.
He's continuing to prove more so in the Cup Series than he is the trucks, but he's finding speed in the trucks as well. And well, his practice time was a little off key there, running mid-pack. So I'll see if he has anything corrected during the qualifying session into this race session, see if he can get any extra speed out of this truck. We're going to take one more pace lap around this place before we're going to set it off. Stage break. There's always that one stage break a third of the way through the race. This time you'll see it happen on lap 45, and then they'll go the rest of the way, about 100 laps or so before we get to the end.
Yeah, I'm really circling here on this sheet of paper. Tyler Brown, if you look at the short tracks and the flatter track style races that we've run here with the truck series all the way from season A to season B this year in 2023, Tyler Brown has been right there. He had a good run at Martinsville in season A, and in season B, he was pretty strong back at New Hampshire. So I expect Tyler Brown to be able to do something in that 00 tonight.
Yeah, he's looking great out there. Let's see what he's got in store for you specifically, because you got him circled on your sheet of paper. But here we go, lined up. Green flag is out. This race is official here, and the number 29 and 28 basically start at the same exact time. The 29 is going to have the preferred groove there on the upper half of this track. Comes off turn 2. Going to try to clear the 28 of Cody McKinney, and he almost does so, but 28's going to hold a little strong, but going through 3. Tommy Schaefer to the point by himself.
And now it's just going to be a fight, Jeremy, for who can get to the top the quickest, because that's the lane you want to be on if you're a driver here in this field tonight. That is the lane you want to be. It's basically a train. When you have the momentum, try to go to the bottom, but don't continue to fight for position too early on, especially towards the rear of the field if you know you can't complete that pass, because you're just going to burn up your tires. Sure, you could do it for the first 3 laps, maybe try it for about 3 to 4 laps. But after that, once that 5th lap ends, I'd say give up, man. Just try to slot in line somewhere. I mean, you could fight, don't get me wrong, but you're really, really risking those tires aching here later in these runs.
Yeah, this track is known to beat up those tires for sure. And you see the top 10 quickly go single file here, all the way back to about 10th or 11th right now. We see the number 22 of Michael Blackner, first truck side by side with the number 27 of Ryan Chapman. Ryan Chapman on the outside of the track does get clear. You see the 16 hit the wall. That's Robert Maliki, and he's going to drop a couple spots because he does so to the 33 and to the 18, that being Joseph McKinney. So now almost the entire field single file early on.
And that's really just how this race is going to play out, Jeremy. A single file. When you have a run, you could try to make it, but you're really risking hurting them tires. And if you're going to make a move, you better make it quick, or else you're going to fall towards the back, and it's going to be difficult to find yourself with a place in line. Right now, you're looking at Justin Diltz, almost clears himself there on Malicki and off turn number 2. Thought he was going to be able to shut the door. Sure enough, wasn't a lot of room. But this time by off turn number 4, he'll clear him there for the spot for 16th.
That officially makes every single truck right now nose to tail single file running the middle to upper half of this track. If you have a strong truck that can rotate well, you can use the bottom to make a pass, maybe do what they call that quote-unquote slide job, if you will. But you got to be on the gas heavy, be on the brake heavy to make that kind of pass happen here at IRP or Lucas Oil Raceway, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, early on, it's already quickly fanning out too, Jason. The leader's almost a quarter of the track ahead of the last place truck, 20th. That's only 6.5 second lead over the last place truck, but this track is only 22 seconds in length from their lap time, so you can quickly fall down multiple laps.
Sure, and we'll just have to see as the run progresses. And look at this right now from the rear tailgate of Nerd Motorsports, Brandon Gagnon. You're looking at the return of Mr. Brody Hanna, FTSR's own. Had his first return to the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series on Monday night. Boy, oh boy, was that a rough one for Mr. Hanna. Got involved into a little bit of a scuffle with another driver in the middle to later stages of that race. We'll have to see how he does tonight. Qualified in 5th, currently resides in 5th. You see him now down to the inside of the racetrack on Gagnon. Tries to make the pass, or at least get to his quarter panel. Just not enough momentum, Jeremy. It's so dang hard to pass here.
It really is. You have to stick the corner really well and get the great launch off. Or what you can do is kind of back up the turn 3 or turn 1, point your truck straight as it can on corner exit, and just get anything you can to make any type of move. Or you got to use the old bumper trick, right, to send them up the track, what little room there is left, because they're already up the track, running the upper half of this place every single lap as you see it. The bottom has basically been vacant unless you're trying to make something happen. But I saw a couple spots trying to transfer for 10th. Ryan Chapman, one of our IROC 93.5 cockpit cameras this evening. He was trying to get underneath Tony Solari, just a handful of laps to go. Off turn 2, just got too tight, being a little bit flatter. Could not get the thing to stick, had to fall back to the 11.
Yeah, there's really no point in going down to that bottom unless you're trying to pass somebody. You could just see how much it hurts somebody like Ryan Chapman, if you're not able to complete that pass. Back up at the front, Tommy Schaefer, he tried to make a pass to Cody McKinney a few laps ago, and you could just see the ground he lost. He was right at his door handle. They were basically door handle to door handle 1 point off turn number 4, and now because of just him trying to go to the bottom, trying to pass, now he's back by half a second.
Yeah, I'm really surprised to see the top 2 here really separated from third on back, because we're going to go to Nerd TV replay and see that pass for the lead where Cody McKinney, utilizing the outside, somehow got to the outside of Tommy Schaefer. And there it is, clean, easy pass on the top. Cody McKinney to the point coming off of turn 2. You just cannot have that rotation there on the bottom. It's so hard. You actually saw the 29 right there. He got a little bit of tail happy, had to almost lock up the brakes rather, and allowed the 28 to pass, and now he's setting sail, already half a second in front of him.
I have to see here, how Cody McKinney does on these long runs. Obviously, no long race here. Stage break coming at lap 45, so that's going to come faster than everybody else thinks here in this field. I think that right now everybody is just sitting in line, learning how their truck is going to progress on the long run, which I'm kind of surprised, knock on wood, that we haven't seen a caution yet, because when I called the Road to Pro on Thursday night last week, man, oh man, we had a lot of cautions that race, and that really was able to help me for tonight's broadcast for this race, because I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff, but a lot of those guys last Thursday night were a lot more compact together. Again, some of the best iRacers on the service fighting to get to the top for $100,000 and whatnot. And it was a tough race, man. And that's exactly how these FTSR boys are going to be tonight. It's a tough race, man. You have to mentally prepare yourself to hit your marks every corner, not use up the right rear and slide the right front off the corner, especially. Them right sides, Jeremy, at the end of these tire runs are going to be absolutely shredded, like if it were cheese from a cheese grater, as Larry Mack would say, when these tire runs really do get to the end of their life.
Yeah, especially those front tires for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of easy to utilize the rear tire a little bit too much if you're driving off the right rear. That'll make your truck tail happy in the long run. But I've noticed or at least most of the races that I've been a part of at Lucas Oil Raceway, is you try to overturn the truck, maybe driving it a little too deep, a little early in the run, and then your truck just gets so tight, will not rotate anywhere that you try to put it, and that'll just quickly let you drop spot after spot after spot on the back half of this run. And we're approaching halfway here on stage 1 already, and this is the point where you're going to see who's going to do it and who's not. Right now the 28 and the 29 have almost a 3-second lead over third place Brandon Gagnon there in the 38. So, and even those two guys in third and fourth have a 2-second lead over fifth and sixth. So already starting to see the fast runners the mid run to the late run.
Yeah, and really all about to, I want to say maybe whoever that is heading down into 3 right there. You see those cars that are up front kind of spread apart, and then right there, right until the 9 of Marshall Johnson. This is where it's very interesting for him, because he is basically leading that little pack while everybody else continues to run really hard up in front of him. But he's actually running pretty similar pace to the guys up front. In fact, those guys third on back were faster than the top 2 just a lap ago. So this is where, if you're Marshall Johnson, you got to be careful, because you're on attack mode, but you're also on defensive mode, because drivers like Tyler Brown, Sylvain Jolly, they're not going to be as kind, when they get to you, because they know that, positions mean everything, and so does track position. Like you see Sylvain Jolly here trying to go to the inside of Brown off 2.
Seen a couple of pass efforts really here. You see in the 08 and the 00 right now. And also you got the 18 of McKinney and the 22 of Michael Blackner. They're also side by side at the same token. So we're starting to see this transition into trying to make some moves here. Patience running a little bit more thin. Ooh, you see one truck, it looks like the 4 there, getting really loose off the side. That was actually Rick Webb there in the 83. He had the similar colors that I've seen Bobby Terrell in, so I got confused there for a moment. I know he's not in this race, but I almost got sidetracked there. But yeah, you see him try to make a run here on the 18. It's just watch off of turn 4. The 18, as long as he has some tire wear, which actually 18 got really tight that corner. And so that allows the 83 to work up and make the pass.
And that's the thing is, whoa, Sylvain Jolly, hang on to it there, brother. He got really loose off 2. That continued all the way down the back straightaway up until turn 3, where you saw him nearly overcorrect it. but he was able to save it right there. But everybody else behind him, just kind of maintaining their spots, trying to not be too aggressive too early on, knowing that we have 20 laps to go this time by until we see the stage break yellow flag. But everybody's just really just riding single file here, Jeremy. I really do think, though, once we get into that second half of the race after lap 45, I really do start thinking that you're going to see the heat kind of turn up, and you're going to see some adjustments made on pit road.
You might see a loss of patience here as JP Burns trying to make a move, almost cuts into the 14's nose to get underneath Tyler Brown, but cannot hold the power down on the back straightaway. No, the 00 Tyler Brown hits the wall with just a little movement there. He gets passed by the 99, the 14. Now Tony Slurry trying to do it, but cannot. So Tyler Brown, the 00, is going to lose 2 spots.
Yeah, he's going to lose 2 spots right there. That was a heavy impact to the outside wall for Tyler Brown, but it doesn't look like there's too much damage at all. We'll have to see how he progresses throughout the later part of this run before the stage break. That's the thing, man. You get into the outside wall once you're at IRP, and Jeremy, I'm going to use your term. You say wall glue, man. That's literally what it's like. It's like if you just took Gorilla Glue, put an entire bottle of that stuff all the way down the truck, not an inch separated, all over the truck from the glue to the sheet metal and whatnot. It's like you're just stuck to it and you just can't get off of it. And it's just frustrating because you're trying to be consistent. And unfortunately, Tyler Brown wasn't very consistent there.
Yeah, one little bobble there cost him 2 spots real quick. I'm going to do a shout out to one of our partners. Brand new to the Nerditude. It's going to be Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles. The hobby store with a whole lot more. They're based out of New York. And Dusty Pete's is your one-stop shop for many things nerdy. If collecting is the game, then Dusty Pete's is the name, from figurines and action figures to collectible cards such as Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and sports cards. Also die-cast replicas. If you're looking for anything of that nature, Dusty Pete's is the place. Also, they have comics. So, basically, as we said earlier, all things nerdy. So Dusty Pete's sells a plethora of things. So if you're looking to kind of nerd out your collection or try to complete it, whatever you're looking for in that genre, head over to dustypetes.com. And if you do purchase anything from there, 10% off. That famous code we like to shout out, Super Nerd, will get you that discount.
Yeah, and it's absolutely awesome to have Dusty Pete's come on board. Funny enough, same name as our producer, Dustin Longston, up there in the producer's booth. So it's really cool. Y'all should definitely check them out. I went on there the other day, almost made a few purchases myself. And Jeremy, man, they really do have a lot over there. And it's just right up our alley for us nerds up here in the booth. Everything, like you said, comics, action figures, trading cards, you name it, man. That's our game right there, man. That's what we absolutely love here as nerds. So it's really great to have Dusty Pete's come on board for Nerd TV.
You almost had a couple of die cast in the cart ready to go.
Oh yeah, you tell me, man. I was ready.
Yeah, Dustin by here saying the same thing. He was ready to press the go button, but you gotta think on your purchases sometimes. But yeah, check them out for sure. And we're on lap 33 now, 34 at the line here for these guys. So we're just approaching 10 laps to go in this stage. A very quiet evening here so far at Lucas Oil Raceway. Cody McKinney 1 second over Tommy Schaefer. Tommy Schaefer then 2.5 seconds over the 23 of Brody Hannum. As we're looking right now on board the 28 Cody McKinney, as he's got some lap traffic ahead of him.
And that's the thing about the lap traffic, Jeremy. You can really, really dwindle down somebody's lead, especially if you're Cody McKinney, who's got a 0.7 of a second lead over Tommy Schaefer. And you sure the other McKinney, he doesn't want to get in the way of Cody right there. But any sort of lap traffic really can hurt a driver because you're not in clean air, you're in dirty air. I know a short track doesn't really matter, but it still does to an extent. And I mean, if you're Cody McKinney, you want these lappers to get out of the way, give you the top and everything like that, because that's the preferred lane. But they're not going to give you that top lane, man, because they know the second they run that bottom, they're gonna go a lap down. They want to fight for it unless you're right there. That could present something that maybe later on in the race, if we go green all the way to lap 150 in the second half of this race, lap traffic could be something that we might talk about.
And I see Richie Coy in the chats with, every single time we talk to him, he has to say his very common 3-worder, what's up, nerds? So he's in the chats doing that again. What's up, man? Hopefully you're starting your vacation off right, and hopefully it goes well for the entire week. And thanks for tuning in here on your time off. But yeah, we're getting closer and closer to that stage break. Still very quiet. About 10th place has been where most of the action has been. A couple trucks there battling inside the top 10, and then there's a handful of them just outside, neck and neck here, as you're seeing one of them. It's the 14, the 08, and the 99, as they're trying to battle inside this top 10.
Yep, this is for stage points right here. See the 08 try to think about a crossover, wasn't enough. And actually, Lane Allen is going to clear Sylvain Jolly off turn number 2. I don't think I don't think Sylvain got the run he was looking for off the corner, and unfortunately had to back out of the throttle a little bit. Knew he wasn't going to have an opportunity to get back to Lane's quarter panel, so he just laid off a little bit, but now falls into the clutches of Tony Solari, Ryan Chapman, two guys who would love to get more points here in this stage. This time by, we're going to hit 5 laps to go at the line. 5 to go now as Cody McKinney hits that line, and now the gap 0.6 of a second up at the front, but Tony Solari looking to try to make a pass on Sylvain Jolly.
It's going to be about 2 minutes before we see stage break, as long as they stay green, which has every possible chance to do so. Tommy Schaefer is closing in on that 28, though. He's gained almost a half a second within these past 5 laps, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to even get to the bumper here, as we're looking on the 29 and the 28. You see that gap just closing in as we're now on the roof camera of Tommy Schaefer going through 3 and 4.
Yeah, Tommy has really good drive in, but just because of Cody being able to kind of go from the middle to the top, then swing the truck out from all the way to the top in the center of the corner, you'll see right here, it doesn't really show in 1 and 2, but in 3 and 4, it definitely does, because you could just see Cody get in there a little too high, but he's able to rotate the truck in the center. Perfect right there. You saw him not even get to that second seam right there from the top. Meanwhile, Tommy Schaefer was all the way to the bottom of it as he gets loose off turn number 4. And ultimately, Cody's just able to rotate the truck a lot better through the center because he's all the way at the top compared to Tommy, who's sliding towards the middle.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of ground. All that ground he gained, he has lost it there. Pit road is closed. When you have 2 laps are left in that stage, they close them off. You can't shortcut the pits any longer. Saw nobody do so. So they're all going to be taking 4 fresh sets of virtual Goodyears at the conclusion of stage 1 here. A lot of them are running the same exact line they started this race, and you can see the middle groove already starting to be the darkest lane. Not up against the wall, not on the bottom, but everything in the middle is the darkest part of the track as we're looking at Marshall Johnson and Brandon Gagnon. This is the battle for the 5th place and 4th place respectively here, as these two are coming to the line. They're going to be ending the stage here. 38 is going to be in front of the 9. And at any moment, we'll see the caution. There it is.
Yeah, what a great run by Cody McKinney. But Tommy Schaefer, I think if he can just kind of not necessarily back up his entry journey, if he just maybe doesn't, dive it in as much. I think if he runs a little bit higher and lets the truck rotate through the center and has drive off down to the bottom, I think Tommy Schaefer very well could have something at Cody McKinney. These guys basically swapped the front row for these first 45 laps. Tommy first, Cody second, vice versa now from when they started. But nevertheless, great run by those two. And Brody Hanna on his return to the FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series, man, what a run he's having tonight as well.
Yeah, finishing P3 in this stage. So that's excellent there. But we're going to go picture-in-picture mode, and we'll be back before the drop of the green flag for stage number 2. bringing back the full screen here. I do believe the pace car lights are off. So this is going to give us up. Actually, it's still on. Never mind. My game can't read the lights past a certain distance, apparently. But you see them on your screen there. So we got 2 more laps, lap and a half now before we're going back to green flag to start off stage number 2. And we saw a mover on pit road. Happens to be going to second place now. That 23 of Brody Hanna got around Tommy Schaefer. Just a slightly better overall trip in pit road. It's going to set him on the inside there of the 28, which it's almost like a loss, Jason. The outside's where you want to be, and so Brody, I think, really just wanted to be in third place so he could. Well, I guess it didn't really matter. He needed to be in fourth place. Fourth place is basically second place.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and Brody's been having a great night here, up 3 spots from where he started. Maybe he will have something here for Cody McKinney. We know how fast these guys are with the Fury Motorsports guys when it comes to the short tracks. Brody Hanna in particular, he's been a couple months since he's really gotten into the swing of things, and now that he's back into it, we'll have to see how he puts on a show for Cody McKinney up at the front of the field, see if he can get around him.
Yeah, I saw a couple of trucks struggling on that long run. Brandon Gagnon, the 38, he's one of them that just fell back a little bit. And basically the back half of the field, they were struggling on grip, and it caused some pretty decent racing because so. But we'll see who's made the adjustments as we are starting to approach nightfall here. Green flag is back underway. The 28, Cody McKinney, leads the field by a nose. Now the entire truck has already cleared the 23 of Brody Hanna. Brandon's got the top here. Doesn't have the rotation needed, so Brody Hanna is going to slide up to the top and actually going to keep second place.
Man, and Cody McKinney was shot out of a cannon there on the restart, and you got a nice little battle between them going on. Tommy Schaefer trying to go to the inside of Brandon Gagnon. He'll actually clear him for that spot going into 1, and Brandon almost overshot the corner, almost got into the back bumper of Schaefer. He'll try to do a little bit of a crossover, head down to the bottom of the racetrack, and Brody Hanna almost loses it off the corner. Some sideways action all over this racetrack as you see them coming around 3 and 4. And here comes Marshall Johnson putting up a fight with Tommy Schaefer.
Look how quick the 28 and the 23 have gapped third place. The 38, Brandon Gagnon here. They're already got a half a second over third on back. So it looks like just a few trucks can really pull away from this entire field. So it will not surprise me if we see most of the action around 9th, 10th, 11th place like it happens now 3 times a week here as we look on at this big pack. Tommy Schaefer, the number 9, Marshall Johnson. You got JP Burns on the top of the 14 of Lane Allen. And then right behind them, the 08 Savannah Jolly trying to get around Tony Solari in the 11.
Yeah, some great side-by-side action going on through the back here. You see JP Burns. He's being worked on by the number 14 of Lane Allen, heading down to the bottom of the racetrack. Lane almost could have cleared him right there off the corner. Just not enough momentum. While Sylvain Jolly tries to clear the 11 of Tony Solari, here comes Sherwood Williford back behind him. And Solari sideways in front of the field. He'll save it, though, down to the inside of the racetrack. Nice save by the number 11 Ford Mustang, or not Ford Mustang, thought I was in the Cup Series. Ford F-150 of Tony Solari there off turn number 2.
Hey, the new Mustang Mach-E almost looks like a truck, so I'm not going to, discount you on that one. But I don't know how that number 11 of Solari saved it. We're going to catch it once more here on the Nerd TV replay. Just loose, 45-degree angle, locks. Oh, no, actually doesn't even lock it up. Just kind of rolls it back into the straight position there. Excellent job there by Tony Solari as we're looking on board. This is basically what he saw. He's in VR, by the way, for those folks who don't know this at this point. Running VR, able to make that great save, but it had costed him a lot of positions.
Yeah, and I'm sure enough, that Freebird by Leonard Skinner was probably playing inside his head when he was sitting there drifting through turn number 2. That was one hell of a save by him off 2, because that easily could have been a spin, and he's still having his hands full with that number 11 truck sideways in front of Joey McKinney there off turn number 4. So good job by him to save it right there. As we head back to JP Burns, he's still trying to work on Lane Allen. He's gotten past him. And Sylvain Jolly under attack behind them from Sherwood Williford into 1.
A couple of trucks are really trying to make some moves here. The 00 Tyler Brown, he's alongside the 22 Michael Blackner. Not the first time we've seen this race between these two trucks. Dead heat down the back straightaway. Tyler's actually able to keep the momentum. Michael Yeah, Michael Blackner almost hits the wall in turn 3, but now it's the double zero. Tyler Brown gets loose exiting turn 4 and able to keep that momentum off the corner exit. Nice job keeping that thing straight. He's got to make that pass over Michael Blackner.
And that was all just because of him from the transition from the top down to the bottom, Jeremy. Just a little too much gas too early there on the throttle off 4, which causes these guys to get loose because the second you get on that seam, it's like there's no grip. It just makes the truck get loose. So you don't really want to be on those seams with the right rear, especially on transition, because you'll just start to spin the rears, especially when you're, adding the factor that you're applying too much pressure to the throttle, getting on it too early. So that's something that you could see later on in these runs. As look at this battle for the lead, Brody Hanna to the inside of Cody McKinney for the race lead off 2.
Brody's been trying to stab at it on corner entry like he does right here. Gets to about halfway, but now he's got a better chance here. But Cody just rotates so well on corner exit. It's going to make it damn near impossible for him to get this position this way. But you got to watch that tire wear. And you see right behind him, 3rd and 4th place also, Brandon Gagnon, 38-29, Tommy Schaefer. Those two guys now side by side for an entire lap here, trying to duke it out for 3rd place. And quickly on the chats too, Facebook, I see DK Humpty Hart saying y'all have fun. We definitely will. Appreciate you joining once again. And then Richie Coy is currently on Route 78 in Allentown, moving along. So safe travels there once again. But these two right now still side by side for another lap.
Still side by side right now. Nice little battle for the front 4 drivers for 1st and 3rd right now. Tommy Schaefer still trying to work that bottom lane like he was on Cody McKinney in the first stage. Just not enough. I think that if maybe Brandon Gagnon chokes up a little bit on exit, Cody McKinney is actually the 38, just barely hits the wall off 2. But back to the point, I think that if Brandon Gagnon possibly gets loose, has a hiccup off this exit, and that sets up Tommy Schaefer to go to the bottom, possibly to throw it down in there. But I tell you what, Jeremy, that 29 is not going to make any passes like that on exits.
Yeah, making it really tough here. And as you guys are continuing to try to pass each other, still keeping that little distance between them and the 9 of Marshall Johnson, the 14 of Lane Allen. They're consistently just 2 to 3 truck lengths in front of those guys. So I know when you try to run the bottom, you don't actually slow up the speed from the top guy at all. So you have to either like put him in a bad spot or hit him with the bumper to kind of shift him around, or else he's just going to run the exact same line he's ran every single lap, which, oh, by the way, happens to be the fastest way around the track. So more has to be done. Takes another stab at it here. Just can't get to the inside of that time off of 4.
Yeah, it's so hard to do so. I mean, Tommy Schaefer's going to have a great run on exit if he wants to. You see Brandon protecting the position, kind of shifting down to the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Tommy, though, going for another stab at it, trying to go down to the bottom. He'll rotate on center. Same thing with Brandon Gagnon, as Gagnon goes from the top down to the middle, back out to the outside wall. Tommy, though, continuing to show him some pressure. We've seen that 38 get awful close to the wall, Jeremy. If there's going to be a hiccup with 38, it's going to be him getting into the walls. They almost make contact off 2.
Tommy is just really getting close to Brandon here, trying to make him do anything without actually putting him in the wall to make him make a mistake, really keeping him on his toes. He's running high enough on the track, too. I don't think it's actually affecting his tire wear too much other than corner exit, where you have to kind of, choke the truck up a little bit, get it to rotate with the steering wheel more. That's the only thing negative of running the bottom of this track here. But they're all running it in the middle to upper half, so it's not really doing too much. Once again, right there, that time has to pull away from the 38 to make no contact. And what an effort here from Tommy Schaefer.
Guys are continuing to have an excellent battle, and the guy who's loving to see this, but he knows he doesn't have a good opportunity, is Marshall Johnson, waiting in the wings right back there as Tommy Schaefer continues to slip and slide. If Tommy slips up just a little bit, that could open up the door big time for Oh, and we had a big hiccup there. A little bit of a server connection issue for Tommy Schaefer causes a big hiccup for him, and a lot of the other guys here will have to keep an eye on this very closely. Tommy Schaefer possibly having connection issues on lap 73. Oh, and it checked up a bunch of drivers, and Tommy Schaefer still having a connection issue off turn number 4.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on there. Sorry my language there, but the 38 Brandon, once ever Tommy the 29 lost that little connection issue, whatever that happened there. The 38 at that same exact moment turned the wheel straight. It's almost like the 29 lagged into his door maybe a little bit, and it had to make the 38 Brandon correct his truck, and that's what made him make that contact there. So I don't know if that was just by pure coincidence or if there was contact whenever that little glitch happened.
Yeah, and look at who the biggest loser is of that. That's the 38 of gang and lost 3 spots right there from Tommy Schaefer. 4, really, if you want to think about it. And back up at the front, another nice battle for the lead. Brody Hanna back down to Cody McKinney. Talk about a Martin Truex Jr., Christopher Buescher battle, likely. Like we've seen the last couple broadcasts we've done. That's basically what this is. Just nobody can pass on these bottoms like Martin Truex Jr. tried to do on Monday, but Brody Hanna continuing to try to take a stab at it, almost near contact off turn number 4. If he could pressure Cody McKinney on exit like that, just like he did off 4, I think Brody Hanna, Jeremy, could have a great chance of taking the lead on the bottom.
Brody with almost that 2 months off, and it looks like he's still in mid-season form, just doing everything he can and doing it cleanly. To the 28 of Cody McKinney, just will not release his truck there. The 28 gets a little wobble. I don't know if he scraped the wall that time. It's going to allow Brody Hanna to continue and actually get a nose this time in front of Cody. Coming to corner exit. Dead heat down the short back straightaway here into turn 3. And while these guys are continuing to duke it out, I'm going to give a quick shout out to one of our partners once again. This time it's going to be Martin Sports, the series sponsor for every Wednesday's FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series. Small company with a big time product. Of course, we always talk about their gloves. They're the best in sim racing, hands down, with pun intended, whatever you want to call it. So they're the most breathable and durable gloves the sim racing world has ever seen. And there's lots and lots and lots of options. Plus, you can get with them to make some custom ordered ones for your team. So, but they don't stop there though. They also have shirts, hoodies, custom embroidered hats, and all their jerseys are made with full dye sublimation printing. So it allows for no restrictions on color whatsoever, and they all do it in house. So it makes it for the absolute fastest turnaround in the business. So if you're looking to really complete what you got going on in the sim world or in the streets, whatever you want to do, head over to martinsports.gg, shop online there, and whatever you do purchase from them, you're going to save a whopping 25% off with, once again, that same code, Super Nerd.
Be like Billy Madison for a second, like that scene where he said, "You ain't cool unless you peed your pants." Well, you ain't cool unless you got some Martin Sports merch. That's for damn sure. And you should definitely go check them out, obviously, if you haven't. But man, that Martin Sports truck out, all over the place. Great things coming from Martin Sports their way. Obviously, just like we've been seeing a lot of great racing here tonight, all night long between Brody Hanna and Cody McKinney. And actually, back up at the front, Brody Hanna was able to take that lead. But I want to say at lap 78 off turn number 4, Brody looked like he kind of pinched Cody into the wall just a slight bit when you started to read off the ad read, Jeremy, for Martin Sports. I don't know if there was any contact, but it was very, very close for the race lead off 4 just on lap 78.
Yeah, I got really close, and Brody was just continuing to put the pressure on, and finally ended up with the 23 as your race leader. So that is your third lead change amongst 3 drivers so far tonight. As we go to the Nerd TV replay and see this pass for the lead. This is in turn 1, headed to turn 2. Brody just rotates so much better being on the bottom part of the track. You see him still have a nose down the back straightaway into turn 3. And almost gets to about a half a truck there, but then Cody has a checkup and just cannot complete. No, 23 he's pushing the issue so close. It's very clean. It's very clean. But that's what you have to do. You have to make the guy, if you're trying to pass him, into a spot to where you're going to make him question what he's doing on the track. And Brody did it so perfectly and was able to make the pass.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Jeremy. You made up a great point, just about how these guys have to do this. You have to pressure your drivers who you're racing against into a mistake. You talk about back at Michigan. I know I keep mentioning the Cup race from this past week, but it was just so good, and it was such an interesting Michigan race because it was like something we had never seen before from the Cup Series. It was like a totally different track. The top side was dominant, the bottom was really hard to pass, and when you saw guys throwing it down in there, like you saw with Brody Hanna and Cody McKinney, with Brody on the bottom, a lot of guys were just sliding up in front, not giving anybody any kind of room, cutting one another off. You have to do that, similar to what you have to do here at IRP, just because it's so hard to pass. You have to keep the pressure on these guys, force them into a mistake, and obviously try to do it as cleanly as possible.
Yeah, 100% there. We're going to do our usual segment, Turn Up the Tunes, where we're going to turn up the sounds of the trucks and get our voices off your earphones for just a short time. We'll be back shortly. And back here with our voices live in your guys' headphones, and the 23 of Brody Hanna has extended his lead over Cody McKinney by almost 2 seconds that last time by. 1.7 at the line ahead of the 28. And then Cody McKinney also has a 1.3 lead over third place Tommy Schaefer, who has just dropped back a little bit, Jason, since he relinquished the top spot.
Yeah, and you know, that's just really how it is. I mean, everybody is just trying to fight their trucks right now and whatnot. It's just difficult. And one thing to point out right now, Jeremy, is we watched Tyler Brown come off pit road, is possibly pit stops here in about another few laps. I mean, we'll have to see, to say the least. But I mean, these trucks can go. I want to say about 70 to 80 laps. I had a conversation with Max Brady before last week, before the start of the Road to Pro race. They can go about 70 to 80 laps on a tank of fuel. So I'm pretty sure these guys are not safe to the end on fuel. They're going to have to make one more stop. The question is, when is that going to be? It could come around lap 140. It could come around lap 130, all depending on tires per se. So we'll have to see how that plays out as you watch the 11 flyby on newer tires compared to Brody Hanna. And Tony ran a 22.601 last time around, and Brody ran a 23.233.
You seeing Joey McKinney on pit road now, and right now they're at the halfway point between this time of the start of stage 2 and then the finish of this race. They're right at that happy medium. So if they wanted to split the run evenly, you're going to see pit road get a little bit busier. But as we were just over lap 100, so under 50 laps to go, majority of the field is still turning laps before their pit stop.
Yeah, and you know there could be some strategies here, possibly, Jeremy. We'll have to see. Um, you know, and that's all depending on how this race plays out. Look at everybody getting loose there up at the front. Cody McKinney, Tommy Schaefer, they were both loose there off turn number 2. So you just see that the grip is not nearly there. We've fallen over a second off of the pace from when these guys turned their best laps. So, I mean, strategy could vary here when we do see pit stops. We can see guys take the undercut like Brandon Gagnon did, Tyler Brown. Oh, and take a look at this. This changes everything. Take everything I said and take it out of the broadcast and throw it in the garbage, because this race just changed dramatically.
Noted. And it looks like it's going to involve the 27 Ryan Chapman to bring out this second caution, and it's just a self-spin off a turn 4, light contact to the right nose and rear section of that truck. Just a couple scratch marks. I don't think it's going to cause any issue for him, but that was enough for the iRacing stewards to say caution flag time to get these guys we round up.
Yeah, and I mean, he hit the wall earlier on in this race, so you got to think to yourself too, Jeremy, that could have been a big factor with handling. Not only that, the tires are all worn out and whatnot. I mean, he was the last car on the lead lap pretty much, so those tires were pretty much shot. I'm sure Ryan is very happy to see the yellow flag, but he did not want to see it come out at his expense.
Yeah, not at all there for sure. And it looks like mistakes are at the minimal here tonight, so this might be our only green flag caution on the track, as these guys are basically coming down pit road shortly too, right? So they're all obviously going to take a full tank of fuel for virtual Goodyears, get back going, maybe make a wedge adjustment here or tire pressure adjustment there, get these trucks rotating better as we're basically into the nightfall here, in just a short period of time before these guys go back to green flag. Though I'm going to give another shout out to one of our partners, and this time we're going to give a shout out first and foremost to the Butt Kicker. Innovative hardware and software designed to give passionate gamers a deeper level of gaming immersion. The Gamer 2 unit basically is the standard in sim racing immersion. This haptic transducer attaches to the center post of any chair that you're sitting in at your computer. And then while you're racing, every bump you hit on the track, you will feel it exactly how it's represented also in your racing seat. So if you're really looking to complete your sim rig with a one-of-a-kind product, head over to thebuttkicker.com and check out what they have in store for you to complete that sim rig. And then another quick shout out here to TWRS, Team Watson Racing Setups, the leading name in quality, affordability, and professionalism. With a staff decorated, distinguished, and dedicated setup builders, TWRS delivers top-notch race and championship-winning setups to the iRacing garages of drivers across the simulation community. Check out a full list of services at teamwatsonracing.com.
And now that we're going to be going back to green here shortly, Jeremy, you know, one thing to keep in mind too, who's been kind of just coming up through the field very slowly. He started back in the 6th spot, but he was really fast there on the long run, as Marshall Johnson. Keep an eye on him here on this restart, because he was starting to catch Tommy Schaefer and Cody McKinney there on that last run. I would not be surprised if Marshall Johnson has something here for these guys in the top 3.
Yeah, he's been slowly making some improvements. So this number 9 might be a threat here inside this top 5 for sure. If not, maybe trying to steal his I think his second podium for 2023B, if I'm not mistaken. There, these guys are back to 2 by 2 by 2. That just means we got less than 1 lap to go before going back to green flag. This time, Brody Hand, the 23, elects to take the bottom on this restart, which he was on the restart or the bottom of the restart previous. So a little experience here from this, but this is the time where Cody McKinney could regain this lead if he gets an excellent start with the 23. We're going to figure this out. Pace car is down, going through turn 4, just waiting for the flagman to relinquish the caution, bring out the green flag, and there it is. It is out. Cody McKinney with a great start, not what Brody in the 23 wanted to see. If he can rotate this truck well enough in 1 and 2, which he barely does, just enough to clear Cody McKinney off the corner exit.
Yeah, and he threw that slider there, Jeremy, off turn number 1 and 2. And then you saw Cody McKinney try to do the same thing into turn number 3. It's not going to work out, and Brody Hanna still maintains the race lead into 1.
Yep, single foul here for the first top 10 here, really, except for Michael Blackner. Back there in 8th place, still trying to get in line from the 16 of Robert Malikian. But these guys are nose to tail so far. You see a little bundle of truck here. 3 wide for the first time this evening. Michael Blackner on the bottom. Justin Diltz in the middle. Sherwood Williford on the top there. They go 2 wide. Oh, and the 16 of Robert Malikian destroys his right side of his truck off corner exit.
Yeah, nice rebound there for Robert Malikian to not be able to come up in front of traffic or maybe cause a spin. But that's definitely going to hurt his truck and the progress he tries to make towards the front of the field. And not only that, it's going to hold up these guys behind him like Duranko, Diltz, Williford. You see Diltz get loose off turn number 4. These guys are going to fight here to try to get every position they can. And Alan Duranko knows that that 16's got heavy damage to the right side. He wants to make quick work of him, but it's just so hard to pass whether you have damage or not, Jeremy.
It really is. In the 16, I think, touched the wall once again off there for turn 2. Richie Coy in the chat saying, go, Brody, as Brody is maintaining and holding off Cody McKinney so far. These guys are on lap 114 of scheduled 150 laps here this evening, so getting closer and closer to that finish. Tommy Schaefer on this restart holding strong, holding just behind the back bumper of that 28.
Yeah, and he's been doing a great job trying to just reel in Cody McKinney there in the 28 machine. Just can't do it. And you see Cody running a little bit higher entry line like he's done all night compared to everybody else. It's been working, but the question is, we talk about in racing, it's one thing to get to a guy, it's another thing to pass him. So how is Cody McKinney going to try to line up this pass on Brody Hanna? Does he try to work into the outside and make sure Brody doesn't have a good enough run so he can get to the top? Or does he take his good run and try to go to the bottom and throw a slider like Brody did on that opening lap on the restart? We'll have to see. But Brody Hanna so far is showing them who's boss.
Yeah, and as you've seen so far in this race, it is probably the most difficult track to make any pass happen. Brody was basically the only one to do it successfully inside the top 10. Just getting really close to the door of the 28, putting an immense amount of pressure and making one simple mistake on corner exit. That's all it took for him to succeed over Cody to get that race lead, and has not looked back since, as we're now kind of focusing on the 27, Ryan Chapman, and 38, Brandon Gagnon. This is in position for 13th place at the moment. Ryan Chapman does hold that spot over the 38 at the moment here. But as you can see, there's still, we've only had a handful of laps on since this restart, and there's a lot. Oh, the Tony Solari in the 11 having issues again off a corner exit turn 2. Slaps it hard with the right rear.
Yeah, and that was a hard hit there with the right side. You see Tyler Brown trying to come back from him hitting the outside wall earlier on in the night, I believe it was. But Tony's just really struggling with overall grip, fighting Tyler Brown for the last spot on the lead lap. These guys are 2 drivers who started up towards the middle, the front of the pack here, and it's not looking good. You see Tony Solari getting that Gorilla Glue wall glue there into turn number 3, and man, that 11 has a lot of scrapage down the right side of that truck. Not good for the driver of the number 11 tonight.
Yeah, having not the best night for sure, and I wish he could have done something a little bit different early on to get his truck a little bit better handling. This is not the first time he's put himself in an issue. here tonight through 120 laps at Lucas Oil Raceway. Looking out at the 29, Tommy Schaefer still holding on strong to third place here, just under 1 second from your race leader. And Tommy Schaefer has now a whole entire second over fourth place, that 9 truck Marshall Johnson.
Yeah, and Cody McKinney, though, is continuing to hound Brody Hanna back up at the front of the field. I mean, he is right there on the rear tailgate of Hanna. And one slip by Hanna is going to lead to Cody McKinney either trying to pass him on the top side if presented the opportunity, or back down to the bottom of the racetrack. And he's been faster than him lap after lap after lap. But Jeremy, like we've talked about all night long, it's just so damn hard to pass here. You have to either throw it in there, slide up in front of the guy, bump them out of the way, or somehow, some way get them to slip up and let you have that top side. But Cody McKinney trying everything he can do after leading X amount of laps earlier on in this race with a dominant performance. Brody Hanna seems to have taken the point right now, and he looks to be the strongest truck.
Yeah, he's continuing to hold his own right now, and if it plays the same way as the last run, I believe that 23 is going to prevail on the super part of the long run and pull away from Cody, but I guess only time will tell from there. They still trying to separate themselves a little bit from the 29, very slowly, but definitely doing so. Over 2 seconds now between them and fourth place Marshall Johnson. And right now we only have 4 trucks a lap down. Tony Solari is the last one on the lead lap. He's a half a lap down at this point already. Him and the 00 Tyler Brown. So if we pull up the iRacing iFlag track map, we're going to see, you know, they restarted, what, 20 laps ago at this point, and you see a huge amount of space already taken up consecutively around this track.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that's just how it's going to be. These next 25 laps, you're going to see them continuously tend to get more spread out possibly as this race progresses throughout the rest of the night here with just 25 laps to go. Now this time by it'll be 24 laps to go with Brody Hanna leading, continue to lead over Cody McKinney. And Jeremy, if Brody Hanna comes home with this win tonight, it'll be his first win since Kansas back in May this year of 2023. So it's been a long time, especially since this is his first race back since New Hampshire full time back in July last month. So it's been a little over now, almost a month since he's last raced. But man, he's showing him who's boss here tonight. Started there just a handful of spots back inside the top 5, and Brody Hanna looks to try to claim what's rightfully his back on top.
Yeah, he would love to get that W for this season. Knowing it's been, you said, 3 months now since he's seen victory lane, and that's a long time for that 23 Mr. Brody Hanna. So I'm sure he is excited right now, but he also has to maintain that posture for the next 20 laps to hold off a really fast. And actually, we're going to kick it to our third caution this evening, presented by Roasta Jim's Coffee. And looks like it's going to be our IROC 93.5 reporter again tonight, the 27 Ryan Chapman off of turn 4. You see him talking to himself right now, and just for the second time, the only truck that's gotten loose off corner exit 4.
Yeah, and man, this has just been such a tough night for Ryan Chapman. You could see him. He's tired. Mentally, he's drained. He knows he's been working his ass off, you know, especially wheeling and dealing that truck with his arms. Because I'll tell you what, man, IRP is no joke when it comes to, you know, how hard you have to drive these trucks. As we see everybody come down for what is probably going to be obviously the final stop of the night for a full tank of Sunoco Racing fuel and 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. But man, with the way it's looking here tonight, Jeremy, it looks like Ryan Chapman's going to end his 4-race top 10 streak tonight, man. Just not the race at all that Ryan Chapman wanted here tonight.
Yeah, he's got to find magic in this pit stop here to get his truck better enough at least to crack the top 10 to make that happen, which this is the smallest field of the season. So, I mean, he has opportunity to do it, and we know he's a great driver consecutively every single week, but the truck's just not where he wants it. If he can make a couple tweaks, maybe, just maybe, he can find himself in that top 10. We're going to kick it back to a quick picture-in-picture before we go back to green flag. And back to full screen here, just a half a lap left, so about 10 seconds, 15 seconds or so, and these guys are going to go back to green flag, maybe for the final time this evening. The number 9, Marshall Johnson, brand new to the front row, so is the 83 of Rick Webb. These guys like to go on strategy mode here. Let's see what they can do to hold off the 28 and the 23. Green flag is out here. Slow start for the 9 and the 83. Really bottlenecks the entire field. Brody hits the back of Rick Webb, sends him loose into turn 1, and the caution is quickly going to fly for the 4th time this evening. And I think this is going to involve the 38 and what do you know, the 27 of Ryan Chapman. 3 for 3 on these cautions.
It's a tough night, man. Just pack it up and go home if I were Ryan Chapman. That's not an offensive thing to say to him. It's just, man, I feel so bad for him after 4 straight top 10s in a row. A near win last weekend at Michigan, man. It has not been his night. And Brandon Gagnon, somebody who started up there, up towards the front, man, he's had a terrible night as well, just continuing to drop back further and further. It seems as if, Jeremy, ever since that Tommy Schaefer internet connection issue, it's like Brandon Gagnon, I don't know if he hit the wall during that, we didn't catch it, but man, he has fallen back all the way to the last truck on the lead lap. It has been a tough night for the driver of the 38.
Excellent driving from Brandon to avoid any more contact, but he was definitely on the radio quick to apologize multiple times to Ryan Chapman for that one, knowing that he was in the wrong there. And that 38 truck has been up front running full speed this entire night, right? So now he finds himself in a bad spot, not realizing how much choking up into the corner entry. And so, just a lapse of not knowing where the breaking point was so far back in the field. And as a good mention there, Dustin, that this is 2 weeks in a row, the 38 and the 27 have found themselves in a contact situation, but not related whatsoever. I'm hearing this radio chatter. These guys are working it out. It is fine, but still unfortunate. Really, for that 27, like you said, just cannot catch a single break.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just a tough night, for him, obviously. So if I were him, I'd just pack it up, go home, sleep on it. You have multiple more races to go throughout 2023 B, 2023 C, and so forth. So, just one hiccup in the night for Ryan Chapman. No biggie. Unfortunately, that's just the way racing goes.
83 Rick Webb knows he had a lot of tire spin that restart and gave up that track position that he tried to get strategy on. So now Marshall Johnson is the lone truck up there, not with all 4 sets of Goodyear tires on that thing. Now he's going to have Cody McKinney onto whatever side that he does not choose the restart in as your race leader. As these guys are getting set up here for another restart in a couple laps. We'll do another shout out to one of our partners. This time we're going to kick it over to Sim Racing Points. It's your all-inclusive league points management system that allows league owners and admins the ability to completely track their league stats and points with a simple upload. Sim Racing Points does not stop there. For the avid webmasters, they also allow for creation of custom widgets for any league website to fully display points, results, and more that easily update when the results are uploaded. Just a few simple clicks of the mouse and your league can be up and running and looking good while doing so. So check out everything they have to offer to you and your league at simracingpoints.com.
This is going to be a very interesting restart here, Jeremy, with the 9 of Marshall Johnson starting on the front row with lap 105 tires compared to lap 130. Man, I don't think he's going to have the greatest restart, and I really do think that Cody McKinney is going to take full advantage of this restart and try to scoot away from that 9 machine. But look who's right behind him, the Heartbreak Kid, Robert Malikian. Maybe he's got something for the 28 as well.
Yeah, had a couple issues of his own, but now finding himself in a decent spot here to maybe finish inside this top 5. Can Marshall Johnson do the unthinkable and beat Cody and Brody here? We have a 10-lap shootout on our hands, but as soon as I say that, quickly the 28 deletes the lead. The 23 Hannah knows he has to get around him real quick. Tries to make the pass happen on the flat here. It doesn't do it. Almost makes the 9 hit the wall. They're still going. Brody clears them. And now he's got his eyes set back on the 20. As a lot of trucks are hitting that wall in turn 3. And another caution for the 5th time this evening is out before these guys get to the start-finish line. And I'm going to make sure it's not the 27. It is the 27 for the fourth time in 4 track cautions. But this is also going to involve the 91 of Justin Diltz, the 00 of Tyler Brown, and the 83 of Rick Webb.
Yeah, that's really tough right there, especially if you're Ryan Chapman. We've talked about it all night, man. This is just not his night. I don't know what's more frustrating here tonight. Him having this terrible night or him at Gateway in the Cup Series just a handful of weeks ago, because that was pretty bad, but definitely more incidents tonight for Ryan Chapman. But back to that replay right there. I saw Tyler Brown really go down in there. Here you go, down the back straightaway. You see the 91 Dilts get very loose, and unfortunately Tyler Brown sees a hole, tries to go for it. Unfortunately, just really aggressive there, heading into the corner, gets into the left side of the 91, ultimately spins him right in front of the 38 and also the 27 of Chapman.
Yeah, it's just so inconvenient here as we're on board the 00 once more. At least from the roof camera this time. Sees him drive into the 91. 91 was not in the best shape there on that back straightaway. And then contact happens. 91 quickly goes around right in front of the 27, the 83. I think Brandon Gagnon barely got touched in the left rear as Justin Diltz went up the racetrack. I don't think it caused any damage to the 38 specifically, though. But as you guys are grouped back up, we're going to do a couple more shout outs to our partners while we got the opportunity to do so. Monday night Cup Series sponsored by Mach 1 Performance. It's a race fabrication shop that has produced champions and winners from multiple racing divisions like the SCCA and NASA to dirt and pavement oval racing. Visit them on Facebook at facebook.com/Mach 1 Performance. And then Nerd Swag, you're going to head over to swag.nerditudes.gg. We got jerseys, gloves, T-shirts from the Shirtitudes lineup. Those are all exclusive from Martin Sports at martinsports906.com. And then we also have mouse pads. We got cups, bottles, and quite a few more items that are there and lurking in the future. So if you want to support the nerds in any shape or form, head over to swag.nerditudes.gg. And if you do purchase either a jersey, a shirt, or a glove, you could use that Super Nerd code once more. That'll save that 25% off.
Yeah, definitely go check all of our merch out for Nerd Swag, because I tell you what, it is some sexy, sexy stuff for sure, to say the least. I know Dustin and Scott really working on that stuff big time, and it really does look good for sure. Just like it's looking good for Cody McKinney up here at the front, man. He had to take quick action a couple restarts ago with Marshall Johnson and Brody Hanna. Good thing he saw that caution, because I don't know, Jeremy, if he was going to be able to catch up to Cody McKinney due to having to get around Marshall Johnson very quickly. Couldn't do it in the first 2 corners. Did it into turn 3, but Cody McKinney was gone by that point. So now this opens up the door for Brody Hanna to try to run down Cody McKinney again. Will he be more aggressive? Will he use the bumper? You can use the bumper. I saw it on Thursday night in split 1. We'll have to see if it does in fact happen, but nevertheless, this is going to be one hell of a battle between these two up front.
Yeah, they're going to figure this out in a half a lap. It's going to be a 4-lap shootout between the 28 and the 23, and then really 3rd through 7th or 8th are all going to be fighting for that top 5 position and the final podium position as well. So who's going to take home the trophy? Who's going to finish in 2nd place? It's too tough to call right now. Green flag is out inside the restart zone. The 28, Cody McKinney, gets a great launch over Brody Hanna, able to momentarily clear him, and actually the 23 and the 28 going to make some contact, and the wreck ensues, this time in front of the entire field. And what do you know, the 27, Ryan Chapman, sideways in turn 2 for the 5th time involved in this one. That's also going to bring in I think the 33 with some contact. It's so many drivers, the 22, the 91, the 00, quite a bit of people in this one.
Be flat out. If I were the 28 of Cody McKinney, I'd be absolutely furious. Hell, I'd be pissed right now at Brody Hanna. I mean, just really a bonehead move going in there. I mean, yeah, to be aggressive on a late race restart, but to gas it up, knowing how not so dominant, the inside lane is. Like, I understand Brody Hanna trying to go down to the bottom like that and really try to get the run through the center, because he knows, even we all know Cody McKinney was probably going to clear Brody there off the corner. But I mean, to just gas it up in the center and just drive it into the guy's left rear, I mean, really uncalled for there. Like I said, I understand the situation being presented because it's so hard to pass her. But man, he was really quick. He was probably as fast, maybe even faster than the 28 machine. I think there was a little bit, better time to do that than right there on the restart in the one.
Yeah, and I was listening to the radio chat too, and Brody Hannon was quickly keying up saying that was 100% on me. I apologize there. So, of course, there's going to be some frustration. It is a short track. It is late contact when the two most dominant trucks obviously are going to be finishing in podium position regardless, except for that exact thing of making contact and wrecking each other out of the top 5 and top 3. So, it's really tough to see, but at least there was a quick apology and things seem to be accepted, at least at this time. Of course, after the debrief happens, that's amongst them, but they're keeping it civil. And now they got their work cut out for them. They have to slice and dice through this entire field. They're going to be restarting back, 14th and 12th, respectively. So a lot of work to do to first get into the top 10 and then now crack the top 5.
Yeah, well, this is going to be our first attempt here in overtime, too, Jeremy. You got to think about that. And track position's been so key here tonight. And enough cautions. I believe, what is it, 2 or 3 overtime finishes do we have?
Should be 3. Yeah,
okay,
3
so if we have 3 overtime finishes, and if you're driving like Marshall Johnson, who stayed out on strategy, we all thought that was gone once he got past, and he just kept dropping. But sure enough, the field wrecks. He gets through that thing, and that number 9 Toyota Tundra is sitting pretty there up front with 25 lap older tires than the rest of the field. So if we keep getting cautions here, with this being our first attempt at overtime and Marshall Johnson still out front, we could be looking at a strategy played perfectly by Marshall Johnson in the 9. But it's going to be very hard if these guys do, in fact, get ready to go and they saddle up and they don't really, cause a lot of controversy. Tommy Schaefer, JP Burns, Robert Malikian, all right there to try to take opportunity of this.
Yeah, and it right now it's turned out great. Like as soon as he got passed by the 28-23, I thought the strategy call was done for myself. But then some turn of events happened, and now he's back on the point, trying to do this once more. But he's gonna have Tommy Schaefer, really strong contender now for this top 3, and even the race win at this point. But the 9 of Marshall Johnson's had a couple restarts now up front, so he knows how much pressure he can put on that gas pedal without spinning those rear tires. So let's see if he can maximize this restart this time. Let's see if Tommy likes to dive it in deep and maybe get that pass early on through turn 1 and 2. Pace car is down. First of 3 official green-white checkers is going to be happening here. 3, 2, 1. Green flag is out. And the number 9 of Marshall Johnson does not go at all. Tommy Schaefer is going to be able to clear him if he slides up into turn 1. Does not. Going to hug the bottom. Marshall Johnson's going to put himself back side by side and try to contend, but just too fast. 29 to the point.
Yeah, and Tommy Schaefer, this is exactly what he wants. And oh, the 9 machine's in the wall. This presents JP Burns with an opportunity. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. And Tommy Schaefer, which was so close last week, driving away through the field one more time down the back straightaway.
And here we go. The 29 got himself about a 4 truck length advantage. Marshall Johnson dives it in deep. Not going to be enough. Obviously, JP Burns gets loose and gets turned by Duranko, and there's a big wreck off of turn 4, but it's not going to matter. The 29 of Tommy Schaefer is going to bring home the checker flag, and the Martin Sports winning moment is going to belong, well, technically to the 29, but it's going to be really the 23 and the 28's wreck that kind of set him up to take home this championship from this track.
Yeah, that's really awesome for Tommy Schaefer, finishing second last week. And that's unfortunate for everybody else who was involved in these wrecks here tonight. Here's one wreck. You see the 22 machine, Michael Blackner, in a wreck. There's Justin Diltz going around after the checkered flag. Some more wrecking going up there. Wow, Cody McKinney just barely gets through that with Justin Diltz. That was one incident. And then there was another one coming to the checkered flag. We'll have to take a look and see if we could take a look at that. But, man, that was huge off turn number 4. There was a lot of guys involved. You see right here, Cody McKinney just gets into him. This is how that first wreck started down the back straightaway with Michael Blackner. And, man, the 28 just go right into him. And then
Yeah,
here
here's the
we
main
go.
one.
Oh
That's the
yeah, this is big.
This is the main one I saw. I didn't even see Michael Blackner go around there in turn two. But yeah, that was quite a few more trucks there. And I'm surprised it didn't stack up way more than that. So a lot of different things happening on that final lap of this race. You see the 99 right there getting loose, corrects it, but then Duranko's like, hey, it's the final corner, man. I can't lift here. I'm going to lose spots. So gets in the back bumper, him, sends him around, and on the way he goes. But only really the 99 affected.
Yeah, and what a race here tonight from something, this is a stereotypical short track, type race. And we'll talk about it during our wrap up and post race. But man, what a night tonight for sure, to say the least.
And that's going to bring up the unofficial results here, presented by Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles. Tommy Schaefer brings home the trophy for tonight's race at Lucas Oil. Marshall Johnson, second place. Great call on the strategy there. Job well done. Robert Malikian going to be up 11 spots, 14th to third. Tony Solari somehow, some way got himself with track position and strategy. He's going to finish in fourth. Alan Duranko fifth. Brandon Gagnon in sixth. Seventh place, Sylvain Jolly. Eighth place, Brody Hanna. Ninth place, Lane Allen and Ryan Chapman did not break the top 10 streak. Just in
Damn.
10th.
What
After
a
all that.
job by Ryan Chapman, man. And I tell you what, he must have heard me in the broadcast say that. He was like, damn, I'm not losing this damn top 10 streak. You can best bet your bottom dollar on that one. Round of applause for Tyler Chapman to make a positive out of a rough night. But with that being said, top 20 to round out the field. 11th, Sherwood Williford. 12th, Rick Webb there in the 83 machine. 13th goes to Tyler Brown. 14th, Heartbreaker Cody McKinney there. 15th, JP Burns. 16th goes to Michael Blackner. 17th is Justin Diltz. 18th, Joey McKinney. 19th, Colby Mice. And rounding out the field of 20th is Brandon Elder in the 51.
And that's going to bring us to our full screen commercial break. Top three are getting gathered up right now. And as soon as we get them, we'll be back to talk to them for the conclusion of this Lucas Oil Raceway 150. And welcome to the Martin Sports Post Race Show, where we had a complete cycle of trucks in this top five, finding their way onto the podium spot here. And you're seeing one of them on your screen. We're going to bring him in. That's going to be the number 16 of Robert Malikian in the Sim Motion Ford F-150. Robert, welcome to the Nerd TV booth.
How's it going, guys? Finally made it here.
Yeah, finally did, man. Congratulations on that. Took a wild, crazy finish to this race. The first 120 laps completely clean, minus one self spin, and then chaos ensued over and over and over. And Dustin's been calling you the heartbreak kid for so long because you've had so many good runs and just falling short, but you finally made it. So, what was your take on those final 30 laps?
It was just chaos towards the end. It was awesome. The race stayed green for so long. We had a great long run truck. Once we got about 20 or 30 laps into the run, I was just as faster than the leaders. I just couldn't make it through the field very well. Tough to pass here. It's always tough to pass here. But we made it through okay. That last pit stop, I took two tires. I noticed I barely had any wear, even on the longer runs. So I just took the gamble, took the 2 tires to get some track position, and it worked out for us.
Hey man, congratulations. Semi heartbreak kid no more. I'm still waiting on that uh first win from you. But hey man, I'm looking at your stats right now. You were really close to coming to the podium a lot of times. I look back to Darlington, you finished fourth back in May there for both Cup and Truck. You finished a lot of top tens, a lot of top fives, man. It's been a long road. We've been talking about you recently the last few weeks. It's like you ever since you came into the FTSR, you've been getting better and better and better week in and week out. I will ultimately say I think you should have won Kansas last season in the Cup Series, but we all know what happened there going into 3. But man, it's been a long road for you ever since you came to the FTSR. How does it feel to like just finally be in the top 3, knowing that it's like, okay, I got that top 3. Now the next goal is a win.
Feels awesome. I'm learning a lot from the team. I joined these guys earlier this year, and they've been teaching me a lot. This is my first open setup league, so that's been really interesting. Really fun to learn building these setups, working with our setup shop, Top Split. We just brought them on board. They gave us a really fast truck tonight, and it's been awesome driving with these guys. There's a lot of really fast racers here, so it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been great to watch you throughout the season and whatnot. But yeah, man, floor is yours. First time. Who would you like to thank? Who would like to shout out before we let you go this evening?
Yeah, I just want to thank the team, Elevated Esports, our sponsors, and our. I mentioned Top Split earlier. They're our setup guys. We have Gum Auto Centers to thank, Elevated Esports, Martin Sports. I also want to thank my wife, Celine. She's always super supportive, sharing all my racing stuff, always asking if I did well. So I'm happy I finally get to go. Tell her we got the top 3, we got the interview spot. That's what I've been going for. Just going to keep putting in the work. Hopefully, we get a win soon. I think it's coming. We've got speed. So just trying to grind out these races, get some good finishes. We got trying to lock in third in points for Cup. We're getting close there. So looking forward to towards the end of the season. Hopefully, the good finishes keep coming.
Yeah, man, definitely. And yeah, you keep improving for sure. And we're glad to watch you each week in and week out. Knowing this is your first open setup league, that's kind of cool there. Good to see people learn some new tricks in the trade, and you're getting better at it. So just continue to improve,
Thank
and
you.
we'll be talking to you at P1 here soon. But congrats once again, and then we're gonna let you go, and
Thank
we
you.
will catch you next week.
Also want to thank you guys. Y'all put an awesome broadcast on. We really appreciate it too.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you for those words for sure.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to be the number 16, Robert Malikian, driver of the Sim Motion F-150. And now it's time to bring in second place. That's going to be Marshall Johnson, driver of the number 9, Asian. If I'm saying that right, Marshall?
Ison.
Asen. Okay, appreciate that. Yeah, I was not sure, so I finally get to ask you that question. And man, hell of a drive there for you late in the going. You called a strategy call. You got yourself in P1, and then the 28 and the 23 passed you real quick, and then they took each other out, and then that reopened the door for you, and you're able to secure second place. So, just your final thoughts on tonight's race, and specifically the final 30.
Yeah, I had a good race overall. Started decent. Forget where exactly I started, but I think it was sixth or so, and just stayed in that area the whole race. And we all took basically 4 tires at the stage break, and once we got to 20 or 30 to go, though. Trucks went in, but I stayed out. I thought with 20 to go, I think we only had roughly 25, 30 laps of 20 laps of green on them, and thought more yellows would come and I could hold them off, try to make it difficult to pass. But like you mentioned, they passed me pretty easily. And yeah, strategy wise, though, stayed up front and stayed out of trouble, unlike some others, and was able to have a good finish. Appreciate Tommy and the other guys racing me clean today.
Yeah, and Marshall, obviously, you come home second tonight. what was your mindset when you saw the top two take each other out right there on the restart, man? Because we had thought that your strategy was like, he tried, it just didn't work out. They got buy-in, then ultimately they started wrecking up in front of you. What was your mindset after that happened?
You see those cartoon characters where their eyes get as big as saucers when they're surprised? That was pretty much me when I seen the top two get into each other, and then that whole top side was wide open for me to just cruise through.
I better believe that, man, to be true. That's it's a great analogy there to represent your reaction for sure. But yeah, congratulations, man. You finally get to talk to us here in the podium for 2023B, and you've been getting stronger and stronger each week in and week out. So shout out to you for doing so. But the floor is yours. Final thoughts and thanks before we let you go.
Just appreciate the league that we're in. Full Throttle does a great job. They got a lot of talent in the league from top to bottom, and really appreciate being part of the league. I know I got into maybe some bad blood with some people with some contact the previous couple of weeks, and hope certainly not to repeat ourselves in the weeks to come. Really appreciate it and appreciate what you guys do for broadcast.
And thanks for those kind words, man. And congrats once again on P2 tonight. And good luck for the rest of the season.
Appreciate that. Hoping someday I can be the winner instead of the bridesmaid.
Hey, we're looking forward to it, man. You're getting there. You're getting closer and closer. We'll be talking to you soon as P1.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. That was the driver, the number 9, Asen Toyota Tundra. And now it's time to load up the Martin Sports Victory Lane scene here as Mr. Tommy Schaefer, driver, the number 29 Roasted Gems Coffee Chevrolet Silverado. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you. Really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, man, such great speed early. Just the 23 and the 28, just a little bit better. Caution comes out midway in the run. You reset. It looks like you had a little bit more speed. And then caution after caution after caution. And then the one that opened the door for you. And so what kind of calls were you making on pit road to put yourself in position for tonight's victory?
Well, at the stage, ran pretty close to Cody for most of the stage, led some of the first stage there, and really didn't adjust too much on the truck. Came in, took forward, packed it full of fuel, and then late in the second run, what was it, like lap 100 or 90 something, that the caution came out. Came in, done the same thing, because when we was working on the set, we was going into practice lobbies for official races, and it was nighttime, so just kept waiting on the track to get dark and sun to go down, hoping it would come in. Well, I was battling just a little bit loose off the corner, and when the caution came out with like 20 to go, and I seen Brody and Cody go in, I was like, well, I'm going to try to tighten it up just a little bit. Nothing too crazy. And it ended up working out perfect, because I was worried about it, about 12 to 15 laps into the run, that I was going to be plowing tight. And with all those cautions, and I hate, Cody and Brody getting into each other. And, I didn't want to win it that way, but a win's a win. And whenever we restarted, I know I kind of might have pinched Marshall a little bit coming out of 2, but man, that thing was hooked up. And the work that Tyler and I put in this week on these sets, it really paid off for me. I know he kind of got stuck back in the pack and had a little bad luck, but I feel like we both had fast trucks, and I think the work we're putting in is really starting to show.
Well, Tommy, with that being said, I mean, you guys talk about you and Tyler have both been getting faster and faster every single week. I mean, you guys were a threat last week. You finished second, obviously, to Steven just last week at Michigan, which really, it was kind of anybody's race. And then a race like tonight where you knew that passing was going to be really difficult. You started up towards the front there with Cody. You guys battled, man. I mean, what is your goal going in, obviously, as the season's coming to a close here for season B? When you head into season C, what is your primary goal, obviously, going into season C?
We just want to stay consistent. It's I can't remember where I qualified last week, but definitely being up front here makes a world's difference. I know it's a short track, but it seems like the further back in the pack you get, the tighter your truck gets. And I don't know if it's the dirty air, because you really wouldn't think that here at a short track, but I'm sure that some of the other guys could attest to that. But we just want to stay consistent, and being locked into the playoffs now, really want to try to make a deep run at that, and don't want to look too far ahead, but try to advance every round.
But yeah, man, good luck the rest of the way doing so. And yeah, it'd be great to see you drive deep into the playoffs and give a run for these guys' spots up here coming in a little bit behind on the points standings there. But congratulations on the victory again tonight. Floor is yours. Final shout outs before we let you go this evening.
As always, I want to thank everybody at FTSR and you guys there at Nerditudes for the broadcast. FTSR obviously for putting the league on. It seems like the racing just keeps getting better. There's fast guys out here, and there's guys getting faster. I want to thank Roasted Gems for always riding with us. Use code Schaefer for 10% off at checkout. And my dad down at the body shop, Schaefer's Auto Body, for riding with us, and everybody who supports us. And I want to thank Tyler for being there and being able to lean on him, and we kind of lean on each other on these sets and just try to keep getting better.
Yes, sir. Well, good luck the rest of the way, and maybe we'll talk to you again here shortly as a winner in the future races to come.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. Hope you have a good evening, and hope to talk to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And that was Tommy Schaefer driving the number 29 Roasted Gems Coffee Chevrolet Silverado. And pretty hectic end of that race. Is a pretty low-key event there up until lap 120 for Ryan Chapman. Set up the second caution. I just set off a tandem of caution after caution after caution after caution. And but that happens at short tracks for sure. It's hardly avoidable. And we heard what Jason had to say as he's getting prepped for his double duty night himself over LSR TV. So Dustin, what's your final outtakes for tonight?
Hey, it's it was short track racing. Excellent racing. I mean, that nice long green flag run. This track is so hard to pass at, which makes it even harder for the drivers. And harder for those battles. You don't see a lot of the side-by-side battles. When you do, you find yourself in situations that a lot of times contact the way the track is configured. But man, it's what a night. I mean, seeing Marshall Johnson up in the top 3 podium again was good. The Heartbreak Kid, man, awesome. That put a smile on my face to see him crack the podium, and you guys got to interview him. So always good to see that. Definitely look forward to that more often. But I mean, this was the last 25 laps. It was a story of attrition. I mean, that's what it was. How much you could hold out. I mean, obviously the talk was the contact between the 28 and 23. It was an aggressive move. Late in the race, try to go down there. Truck just did not stick. I mean, we seen it on the replay. Drifted up the track, and there was nothing that he could do. We had the brakes on, trying to woe out, trying to steer. Contact was made, and I mean, that just opened the door for everybody. I mean, excellent rebounds. We talked about Tony Solari finishing 4th. I mean, this is a guy that was in the wall hard a number of times, come back P4 for a top 5. Brandon Gagnon. I mean, we seen him number of laps down. He was back towards about 15th there with about 15 laps to go, finishes P6. I mean, just excellent rebounds by a lot of drivers there. And I mean, talk about Ryan Chapman. I mean, how many cautions was that guy involved in? And not all of them were him getting loose, just wrong place at the wrong time, still keeps that top 10 streak alive. So, I mean, there's a lot of good stories. I mean, you have to look through the tire smoke, so to speak, and maybe the tempers a little bit, but there's a lot of good stories that happened tonight. And that's what short tracks do. They bring that out.
Yeah, Tony Solari, huge rebound for him. I thought he was going to be 10th place at best, but somehow, some way, found himself in the top five. And yeah, 6 cautions tonight, 5 of which were on track incidences, and that 27 Ryan Chapman, part of all 5 of them, and still somehow cracks the way in the top. I have to go back and watch that over myself. I didn't even see how he was able to make that happen, but we're going to close this thing out here tonight. Shout all of our partners one last time. You're going to see them go on the right-hand side of your screen. And first and foremost, the league, FTSR. Thank you for letting us do this for almost 2 years at this point. Continue to do Monday and Wednesdays for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series and tonight's Martin Sports Truck Series. So if you want to join in and be a part of the action, FTSR.net. Mach 1 Performance, your race fabrication shop that's produced champions and winners of all sorts of racing divisions. Find them at Facebook at facebook.com/Mach 1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, your all-inclusive league points management system that allows you to completely track the league stats and more with one simple upload. Find them at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See their whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing, iFlag, get all of your notifications just a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving your focus from the racing action, and you're going to find them at iracingiflag.com. Butt Kicker, the ultimate feel from the race car with the haptic response system from the Butt Kicker, and you're going to find them at their website, thebuttkicker.com. Team Watson Racing Setups, quality professionally built setups for all your asphalt oval needs. Find out everything that they have to offer you at teamwatsonracing.com. Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles, a hobby shop with a whole lot more. If collecting is the game, then Dusty Pete's is the name. Visit dustypete's.com for a full product catalog. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee. Start your day the right way with coffee from Roasted Gems at roastedgems.com. That's going to conclude our week here on Nerd TV. We're going to catch you back live Monday nights for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. They tackle Indianapolis Oval, not the road course. I'm going to take my butt on vacation here for the next 4 days, but until then, we'll catch you Monday. Stay safe. Get your nerd on.